Okay, everyone. I'm hoping you can all hear me loud and clear. I'm going to start our webinar on our 2020 Q2 release and what's new. This is the first time that we are in this year trying to do predictable releases. This is the first one of the year, released in April, and there's a lot of features here across our product sets and across our feature sets that I'm really happy to talk about and are really interesting to present to you all. So a bit about myself. My name is Michael Tansini. I'm a product owner at Speechmatics, and I've been 7 months. Of those 7 months, 2 of which have been at home in my living room, which is also functioning as my workplace and also my home gym. So, but there's been no let up in the amount of work we've been doing, and we managed to successfully 100% remotely complete our April release. I'm responsible for 2 of our automatic speech recognition teams, whom is based in Cambridge, and the other of whom is primarily based in Brno in the Czech Republic. To walk through some of the releases that have taken place in April. The first one that I want to talk about is an expansion of our product sets that we now offer, which is our real-time container, and it's probably one of the most exciting products I've ever worked with. Not to hype it up too much. We have for a while had a real-time appliance which has given people the ability to integrate real-time speech recognition into our products in their workflows. We're now expanding that so that you can now have a containerized deployment of the real-time product as well. Rather than our appliance, which comes with a preset list of languages depending on the size of the appliance that you use, all 31 languages here are individually available and can be deployed independently of each other depending on how you use them. All features within the real-time appliance are available in the real-time container as well. So features like partial functionality, custom dictionary, and max delay, for example, using our speech API. These will all be available. Our batch container, our real-time container, is built on a Docker platform. This is a well-used product throughout the industry and maybe allows perhaps a more flexible deployment than our current appliance for people who already use containers within our workflows, especially when it comes to deployment and scaling. Like all our products, we provide not only a quick start guide, but also a speech API guide. We'll run through how to use these features and what responses you should get back as well. Next product that we're talking through is the licensing on the real-time container, and we've got a new license file which I'm going to demonstrate with shortly. When you start to use the real-time container, our support team will send you a license file in a JSON format. This file works in conjunction with the container and is required to begin transcription. Currently, it's for the real-time container only. As mentioned, the support team will email you this file, which is required to begin transcription. When you download the real-time container and you want to begin transcription, you either volume map the license file into the container via a standard Docker run command, or you can pass the license token value within the license file itself at the command line. We provide full documentation of how to do this. We also provide some of the principal errors that you would encounter were this done incorrectly or were there an error with the license file itself. We have a support team as well who will issue these license files and can generate new ones if need be. Note here is that these license files are really flexible. We can license them on a time basis, on a trial basis, and a feature basis as well. So each license file for each customer will differ depending on your contractual arrangement. In the future, as well. I'm now going to show you a short video which shows me using the license file itself to get transcription internally. So just bear with me. In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to successfully use our real-time English container with our new license file functionality. Some prerequisites before this video. I have downloaded Docker onto my laptop. I've got a latest version of the real-time English container. I have an example license file, which I will show shortly, and I'm using an internal development tool, See What You Say to visualize the transcription as it occurs in real time. The license file is integral to the running of the real-time container, and were I to try and run the container without the file, I'll receive an error. I'll show this now with a simple docker run command. We can see here that the container has failed to run, and when I look through the logs, I can see an error which relates to the fact that the license file cannot be found. Let's have a look at an example license file. A license file can be licensed by a date and also licensed by a feature. We can see here the license file allows a container to run between the 20th to the 28th of May. It is a trial subscription and also licenses the following features: the real-time container, the custom dictionary, and the English language pack. The token is used to validate the license file and can be passed either by volume mapping the license file into the real-time container or passing the token itself as an environment variable. Our quick start guide will show you how to do both, but for now, we're going to do volume mapping. I've successfully volume mapped the license file into the container, and the model is now starting to run, and the container itself is now running locally on my laptop. I'm now going to start transcription. My speech API is set so that there will be a delay of 4 seconds between me speaking and the words appearing. For ease of transcription here, I'm turning off partial functionality, but that can be added if you so wish. If I try to run the container on a different language model than the one that I am licensed to use, for example, Italian, I'll receive an error because the license file only allows English. I'm going to move to English now and start transcription. I am now connected, and you will soon see my words repeated back to me using See What You Say to. However, we also licensed the custom dictionary, and I want to trial it. My surname, Tansini, is an Italian name that is not often found in an English dictionary. It is close here, but not quite correct. I'm going to use the custom dictionary to change it. I'm now saving and restarting the session. When the session restarts, it will recognize Tansini as an additional vocabulary item, and the word Tansini should be successfully repeated back. As we can see here, it has been successfully repeated back, and our real-time container is functioning well. Okay, that's that video over. Hopefully that demonstrated the real-time container for you. I've received some questions in advance of webinar, and I will answer those at the end. But if you do have questions, please put them in the question section of the GoToWebinar. I've seen a few there already. Item to talk about is the new English release, our global English language pack. This is the latest version with a few updates, which I will go into now. It's version 6.8.1.1, and it's available on the latest version of all our product sets. That's the batch and real-time container, our batch and real-time appliance, and our version 2 cloud offering or SaaS. Some of the main changes, we have received some feedback in how we output numbers. Sometimes we are slightly inconsistent in how we output them. So we focused on some of the most important ones, which is numbers between 0 to 9. and they're going to be consistently output as words, which I'll demonstrate shortly. We have no change to other numbers, which I'll also show, but long term, this is a feature we're looking at to output numbers predictably and consistently. So there may be change there in the future. We have a resolution of several pronunciation bugs here. We had in the previous language build some raised about some Cyrillic characters. We also had some non-standard characters appear in some transcription, and some and now those have been resolved. We had some compass pronunciation issues. They are all resolved as well. And we've also improved our output locale functionality. For those of you unaware of this, output locale is a way that we can output English either with British English pronunciation or American English pronunciation, a feature which has, with a transatlantic product team, a lot of fun. But now we've improved that, so we've got a wider range of words, which I'm going to demonstrate to you now.
Demonstration, I will show some of the new features of our English language pack. In the new language pack, we will output all numbers between 0 and 9 as words. That means the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9 are output here as words. Other numbers, such as 50 or 60 or 70, may still be output as digits. We have also resolved some pronunciation errors around compass points, for example. And in addition, we've added thousands of words to our output locale functionality. The biggest example here is words like realization and urbanization. I'm using British English at the moment, and these are output with an S rather than a Z. I'm now going to change that output to American English and restart the container. Now when I say the words realization or urbanization, these should be output with a Z rather than an S. That has successfully happened.
What we're going to go over is our US cloud offering, which is a variant on our existing cloud offering, and I'll go into more details about that. Our cloud offering is now available in EU and US geographies. So what does this mean precisely? So we have a cloud instance in the EU where until now most of the data has been sent, and now we have it in the US as well. There is exactly the same feature and functionality set here. There is exactly the same, we retain the exact same data retention policies as well, and for jobs that are being submitted. What is important to note here is there's no transference between the geographies, between the data regions. So if you send via our cloud offering data to the EU, it will remain within the EU. If you send it to the US, it will remain within the US. Just something to note here, that our support team are based in the UK. So if you do require support intervention, that means someone from the UK will access one of those cloud instances. Customers at the moment can choose between the EU or the US instance to send data. At the moment, as I mentioned, we don't transfer data between them, so our recommendation is to pick the one that your geography says. What else is new? HTTPS support for appliances. This is something that has been asked for a while, and now we've managed to finally support it. So our batch and real-time appliances now support HTTPS. We support from version 1.2 of TLS onwards, and we do provide information about what ciphers we support as well, if you're interested to that level of functionality. By default, we allow our appliances to connect over HTTP. That default behavior won't change. So to anyone using HTTP, they don't need to take action if they're happy with our current setup. But for customers who are more security conscious or have protocols or compliance regulations, they can now connect to our management and our REST speech API via HTTPS over port 443. Authentication is required when logging in via HTTPS. When we set up the appliance, we provide a default self-signed certificate that customers can override if necessary. Just as HTTP is still supported. You can upload a self-signed certificate and upload their own certificate rather to override our self-signed certificate, and it's our recommendation if you're security conscious that you should do so. To upload a certificate, you'll need the private key file as well as the certificate file, and I'll show you an example in our Swagger UI of what we require. At the moment, these private key files must be provided unencrypted. They are uploaded via a HTTP post request, and we provide confirmation when they are uploaded successfully. You can also then disable HTTP access via a simple post request to disable insecure ports via the management API again. And if you're making a mistake in your SSL config, you can then send a delete request via a management API and revert the appliance to using the original self-signed certificate. You forget your password, and you will then have to access the appliance console via a hypervisor if you do have access. And our quick start documentation lays this out in clear detail that are interested. So quickly, I've just starter guide, we show how to set it up, but here is an example of our Swagger UI. It's very basic here on how to, basic example posted here on how to upload a certificate. It's a post request. You require a private key file and a certificate file. And when you're disabling the HTTP, you just simply send a true or false value to enable or disable those insecure ports. Final thing to mention is our new appliance set, which is that we've got a new Plus appliance. This is our largest appliance yet. It's available with 17 languages, some of which have never been available in an appliance beforehand. So they are. So this is something that customers have asked for, a wider range of all of our 31 languages, and now we now support all 31 languages within the appliance. And this is across both batch and real time. So the language is supported, and you're going to have to forgive me here because this crosses over to hexagons. So global English, Mandarin, Norwegian, Arabic, Bulgarian, Czech, Finnish, Greek, Hungarian, Croatian, part 2, Lithuanian, Latvian, Romanian, Slovak, Slovenian, Turkish, and Malay are all available. It's a very large appliance. Very large appliance gig, but for those who are interested, that is now available. So next, I have some questions. I've had some questions sent to me beforehand, and I'll go through these just now, just for everyone that's available. Then I'll read questions off that are in the GoToWebinar. How can I compare or benchmark your solution with others? We carry out benchmarking of our main languages against some of the major speech providers, looking at a range of different generalized sectors. We can provide some results upon request. For those that are interested, I would call out our product marketing manager, Alex Fleming, and he can walk you through those results in more detail. Some customers do carry out their own comparison testing. We don't always recommend that due to the difficulties in, say, normalization or pronunciation, but some do that as well. Someone's asked, what is unique in your service or product, especially for a German customer who would run your service only or on-premise? What I would say here is that we are very data and privacy conscious. Our container models don't store audio data, and jobs submitted to our appliances are deleted after a set period of time. This means many companies working in the most secure environments feels confident in deploying our language products, especially when, for example, to use those products, they don't have to connect to any external third-party service. It can work within a totally closed environment. Someone has asked, is everything cloud-based, or can Speechmatics run on an in-house server? Our container and appliance models can be run on customer premises. Our container models require a customer to host and run those themselves, and our appliance is a pre-packaged VM that will also need to be deployed in the customer's own environment. We do provide resource requirements depending on what product set you're interested in and the scaling and workflow requirements of your internal organization. Okay, the next question. I downloaded the whole package for Speechmatics. Not sure what some of the peripheral programs do. Could you elaborate? So I need a bit more information here on what product you're using. And as a general rule of thumb, if you do have a problem or an issue with our product, please always just state whether you're using the container or appliance and what version you're using. But for regard to peripheral programs, for our appliance models, the containers themselves are packaged within a virtual machine. There are other containers which carry out basic functions within that machine, for example, licensing. Perhaps you're referring to these. I just need to know a bit more information. So whoever submitted that question, please let me know and I can speak with you directly. And someone's said, we're interested in speech-to-text application for real-time meetings, but the major challenge is the organization holds meetings in 4 languages. Can your product auto-detect the language being used by the speaker? Currently, we don't support language auto-detection, but it is a very much asked for feature. There is, however, research taking place within our organization on language auto-detection. There are some positive results, but at the moment we don't have anything within our roadmap that or a definitive timeline for producing anything. It's currently a research-only item. And we do have that external roadmap, which, subject to change, shows what product features we intend to bring to market within the next few months. Someone else has asked about the direct speech language translation, whether we offer a translation model. At the moment, we don't offer a translation model. We're looking at, we're a transcription provider. We don't provide translation as a result, and we're always focused exclusively on improving the quality and accuracy of our transcription. Someone's asked, is there a way to transcribe multiple streams of audio that allows more than 6? We need 10. So I think this refers to channel diarization, which is a functionality we have. At the moment, we only test channel diarization to 6 channels. I don't think we do testing more than 6 channels. It might be worth whoever's asked that to try testing with 10 channels and see if it works. If it doesn't work, we can raise it as a customer ask internally. If there is a degree of support for this, then we can then track it and see if other people are interested. So that sums up the questions that were asked in advance. I'll just go through the questions that were asked in the chat at the moment. Will the updates of the real-time appliance be compatible with the V2 API, or will this require a V3 API update? It's currently compatible within the V2 API, and our speech API will show this at the moment. There's no V3 API planned at the moment. I hope that answers your question. Are you leveraging a public cloud like Azure, GCP, or AWS, or is Speechmatic having its own private cloud? We do use a public cloud. I don't know if it's helpful to talk about which one that we're using. But at the moment, yeah, we do use a public cloud and the tools and workflows within that public cloud. Someone's asked, hello, do you support the French language? Yes, we do. We support the French language. It's one of our tier 1 languages, and we support it across our containers, appliances, and our cloud offerings at the moment. Are Spanish and Portuguese included in the list of 17 languages available? They're not available within the Plus appliance. They're available within other size appliances. I can't remember which ones off the top of my head. I think the Spanish one is available within our Mini appliance and perhaps our MIDI and Maxi as well. And Portuguese, I believe, is available in one of those as well. So not the Plus one, but if you are interested in Spanish and Portuguese, we can offer it within an appliance. Can you say what the future roadmap looks like too? And can you comment on speaker identification improvements? We do have an external roadmap. At the moment, within the next, I can provide a link to everyone which shows the speaker roadmap, and I'll do it in the chat after I've finished. And essentially, that will show you what we're looking at the moment, and that goes for the next 6 to 9 months essentially. What I will say is that is subject to change, and we try not to change it too often, but we do have there are reasons, as I'm sure everyone will understand. Can I comment on speaker identification improvements within, so this can refer to a few things, I suppose. This could refer to diarization within, speaker diarization within the batch product and speaker change within the real-time product. I will say at the moment, yes, we're looking at improving our speaker diarization. There is work ongoing towards that. I will check our roadmap to see when we've got that pinpointed to a particular date, but yes, we are working at improving it. Any plans for Icelandic? No, not at the moment. I don't think we do have Icelandic planned. No, at the moment, no. We do have Norwegian, Danish, Swedish, and Finnish, but not Icelandic. I'm aware that that's not really, not exactly the same, but yeah, not at the moment. In the real-time appliance, how is time calculated? So it will depend on your licensing. So with the there is a separate licensing service within the appliance that will allocate a number of seconds to your product, and depending on the amount used, it will deduct those from your total. And and within the appliance, there's mechanisms to set up that licensing and activate it. I can hopefully speak. If you've got further questions, let me know on that. Are there special processor requirements for the real-time container? The appliance needs powerful processors. Yes, there are resource requirements. We do provide them as standard. We do provide, I think we say kind of 1 core per container, and a certain amount of memory. Off the top of my head, it depends. I think at the minimum, 1.5 to 2 gigs of memory off the top of my head. But that can vary depending, for example, on whether you're using the custom dictionary. We do have resource requirements on network consumption, disk usage, etc. So if you're interested in that, please get in contact and we can provide more detail around those. What about dialects? Do you have a solution to enhance the recognition of dialects, i.e. in German? We are at the moment looking at, so we are looking at German. We have some feedback on German. There has been some work taking place on it. With regard to dialects specifically, I'm assuming you mean things like Swiss German and Austrian German. At the moment, there's no plans yet for a global German, though it's often something that's being suggested to us. So I can definitely take it away as another customer ask that's been requested. So Speechmatics can transcribe from voice to text in the same language. Is that understanding correct? Can it transcribe from speech in one language to text in another language? No. So for example, if I were to start speaking Italian on the English language pack, it wouldn't really recognize it at all. It would try and transcribe it as English rather than Italian. And that would mean that what you must always do is, transcribe in the language for which you're licensed for. So if you're sending a French audio file through the English language pack, it won't work. If you send a French audio file through the French language pack, it would. I hope that makes sense to you. Do you support external named entities datasets? I'm really sorry. I'm going to need a bit more clarification into what you actually mean here. In regard to what datasets we support, we have a list of audio files we support. I need more information on that, but please get in contact with me and we can try and work that one together. How well do you handle code switch? Again, I need a little bit of context here. What do you mean in terms of code switching perhaps here? Do you mean if there's multiple languages within a single file, let's say there's English and French, you would have to run the file through an English language pack to get English and a French language pack to get French. which is part of the reason we always get requests for language detection. There's no way at the moment we can work around that. Obviously, there is research taking place. So if you've got multiple languages in a certain file, you'll have to run it more than one. You'll have to run it as many times as there are languages within the file. Is it possible to specify a digits-only language model? So at the moment, we do have customers that apply some sort of post-processing to our language for a variety of workflows and scenarios. So in that scenario, what you'd need to do is you would always get the output as words, and then you would need to carry out some sort of transformation to output it to digits. So at the moment, we took the decision to output 0 to 9 as words. So you would at least have that consistency, but there's nothing at the moment that you can do natively within the container. You would need to do it within the file itself. Oh, and I've got a response from Bridget, and it's multiple languages. So okay, I think I answered that one. If I haven't answered that one, please let me know. But yes, multiple languages would require the file to go multiple times through the same through different language packs. Okay, I have no more questions, but are there any other questions that anyone may have? I'll just give people a second to go through that. Okay, in the interim then, I have, I've got a few plugs here. We've got a sales link here for UK and the US and then Canada. We've got questions via emails to contact details here, my email address, and if you've got any questions about this demonstration or you've got further clarifications, please just get in contact and I'm quite happy to walk them through with yourselves. We've also got a link here to Speechmatics as well with the news and some of the latest updates that we've got going today. I hope this has been instructive for everyone. Again, apologies that some of the audio files and videos weren't working, but I can send these out to people who are interested separately, especially with regard to some of the advantages of our latest language pack. Okay, I don't have any other questions here, so I'm going to close the webinar now, and thank you all very much for your time, and wish you all the best of days. And if you, again, just to reiterate, if you do have any questions, please get in contact with the details provided here. Thank you very much.